I will admit, I'll kick it off here, and then we'll get you and Tyler's. I will admit in the top 2 pitchers in the rotation, recency bias 100% affected my grade. Because if you're grading, right, like it's not all bell curve. Like some things are more important than others, and the playoffs to me count for a lot more than an early June start on the road in Pittsburgh. So with Zack Wheeler, I gave him an A+. An A is probably more fair because his performance was down slightly from last year. But the simple fact of the matter is he won 68% of the times he stepped on the mound. And not a lot of guys in Major League Baseball can say that. And this is a weird thing. I'm going to point out 2 things with him and Nola that baseball is just weird, and sometimes it's hard to understand. So last year when Zack Wheeler was a Cy Young candidate, top 2 or 3 pitcher in the game, they won 63% of the time, and his ERA was almost a point slimmer. So his percentage of wins went up this year with an inflated ERA, whereas last year they won less of his games with a skinnier ERA. I just thought that was one of those weird baseball things where you're like, how does that make sense? He was 19th in baseball in ERA this year, which was down for him, but still pretty damn great. His ERA did rise slightly from 2.82 to 3.61. I think a lot of guys struggled this year with the pitch clock early on. I don't think Zack Wheeler ever said that was a thing, but I think it was. I think it was a product of that. So that went into my grading. He dropped his walk rate slightly, which was good to see. His Ks per 9 stayed the same, and his whip stayed the same, pretty much hovering right around 1. So to me, he's as good as any big game pitcher in baseball, and his dominance in the playoffs elevated probably from an A to that A+. I'll admit that. Where do you fall in on Zack Wheeler?
Yeah, I mean, Zack Wheeler for me is the guy that's messing up the curve for everyone else. There's always that student. It's Zack for sure.
Was it you? I knew it.
I also went to a private school for high school, so everybody was extremely smart. I was definitely the kid that was one of the ones messing up the curve.
Try hard.
I am a try hard. Yeah. Still am. So for Zack Wheeler in the 4 seasons, I know on there, we did have mention it's 1 year left on his $118 million deal. I love the fact that his highest quality starts since 2014 that he registered this year, his highest win percentage. And no, he's not perfect. So I'm going to give him an A instead of an A+ because there's still room for growth. But when you look at the postseason and you look at Zack Wheeler's ERA, that 1.95 ERA, 27 2/3 postseason innings, and the ability to step up, clutchness is a huge factor in my grading for my report card. I'm not as nice of a teacher as you are, Jamie, although we're the same spot for Zack. And so I think when you look at Zack Wheeler in the biggest moments, Wheeler's always there. You know what you're going to get. He's going to get strikeouts, 8 strikeouts, 10 strikeouts, and have a postseason like he did, without a doubt, a definite A. To be an A+, you got to be perfect. So I'm going to give, if I had to grade a number, it's like 96. Marshall Lynch, I was Clarence who went to Cranbrook. Yep. I give him like a 95, 96. He's not like a 99 or 100,
no
but solid
here.
A for me from Zack Wheeler. That was my easiest
Yeah,
person
that was
to grade,
probably the
without
easiest
a doubt,
grade.
And then it got a little bit more difficult as I went.
Yeah,
as
and before we
went
get to Tyler, MBD says he was first in WAR amongst pitchers and fifth in xERA during the regular season.
Yeah,
he said my A+ is totally fair. So thank you.
It is totally fair. No, this is one I agree with you on because we don't always agree, but I'm gonna agree with you on this one.
Tyler,
A and A+.
Even though we're waiting on your fancy cartoon head for our graphic images.
Yeah, what's up with that?
What is your grade on Zack Wheeler this year?
Jamie, actually, I agree with you. It's an A+. And 2 stats that I don't give a damn about when it comes to starting pitching, and this is going to show
ERA?
you. I love it. I think ERA is one of the more important ones. This is probably going to show my my millennial baseball, like, you're a loser. You look at stats too weirdly. I don't care about wins for a starting pitcher.
Yeah, that's irrelevant.
I care about how the game got won.
Sure.
And I don't care about. Oh my goodness, there was a second one, and now it no longer persists in my head. There were two. I promised you
fun.
that. Yeah, I promised you that there were two. But
it'll come back.
Wins is the big one for me. Like, I care about WHIP. I care about ERA.
Is it FIP? Is it strikeouts per 9?
It's something that is just it's a pretty common use stat, and I'll get back to it. But
it'll come to you in the shower tonight.
Probably wins are one to me. Oh, quality starts is the other one. I don't care about quality starts.
Oh,
and
both the ones I listed.
I'm sorry. I apologize. The reason I don't care about quality starts
Tyler.
is because the threshold for a quality start is too low. It requires you to go 6 innings and give up 3 earned runs or less. And if you go 6 innings and give up 3 earned runs or less every single start that you pitched, you're going to come away with a 4.5 ERA for the season, and that's not good.
Yeah.
So to me, that number needs to be elevated just a little bit. Zack Wheeler, the wins and the quality starts, like the Taijuan Walker wins, don't matter to me.
He led the team in wins.
What matters to me is the comfortability factor that you both talked about. When Zack Wheeler takes the mound every 5th day, I feel like this guy is going to give you an opportunity to win.
Yeah.
And because of that, I think you pair all of those things.
68% of the time.
It works every time.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, it works every time.
So that plus the fact that his postseason was electric,
historic.
A+ is a fair grade, I think.